From the News Channel 8 studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Melanie Hastings.
So as we mentioned, busy weekend because it's Memorial Weekend. People are going to be out there in the sun. Are you?
Yes, I'm such a bah humbug.
Well,
but you have fun.
Yes, I will. So anyway, everybody's worried about, of course, the risk of skin cancer. This is a high time of the year when everybody spends a lot of time out in the sun. Melanoma is the big risk because it is the most dangerous type of skin cancer out there, and it's the leading cause of death among all the skin cancers.
Yep. Dr. Elizabeth Tanzi is here from the Washington Institute of Dermatologic Laser Surgery and here to discuss sun safety as we head into the warmer months, and they are going to be some warm months. I think we're going to have a lot of people outside, but even warmer than usual for DC. So a lot of pool time, which I'm sure makes you nervous.
Right, it does. As a dermatologist, we really worry about people getting too much sun exposure and putting themselves at higher risk for melanoma.
Okay. Melanoma, that is the scary one, right, doctor? Because that's the one that carries this risk. It can be fatal.
Right.
We don't think of skin cancer as being fatal, but this one is.
Yeah, that's the thing with skin cancer. There's several different types, but the melanoma type is the one that can be deadly. In fact, one person per hour in this country dies from melanoma.
Wow. I had a friend whose father was diagnosed with melanoma, and 6 months later, he was gone.
Right.
And it was, when someone's dying from cancer, you're not there for every day of it. The family and the close ones are there, but, what she was describing, what he was going through, losing his skin on his body. I mean, those are the things you don't hear about and you don't know about, but what this family went through and what he went through in his final days just sounds awful.
Right, and this is particularly important to me, not only as a dermatologist, but also as a melanoma survivor. I was just diagnosed with my second melanoma. So it's really important for me to get the word out that although melanoma can be deadly, it also has a very, very high cure rate if caught early enough, up to 99% cure rate if we catch in the earliest stages.
And you knew what you were looking at.
Right, I knew exactly what I was looking at.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a dermatologist, so you were suspicious immediately when you saw a spot on your skin.
Right. So as dermatologists, we usually talk about two things. We talk about prevention of melanoma, and then we talk about early detection. And prevention, skin cancer is one of the most preventable cancers that there is. And we routinely tell people you want to avoid the sun when it's at its peak between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Wear a good broad spectrum sunscreen, SPF 30 or above, and reapply that every 2 to 3 hours. Also wear hats and sunglasses and sun protective clothing and seek shade, because sunscreen's good, but it's not everything, so you really do need to protect yourself.
Can we talk about sunscreens for a minute? Because you go to the store and there are so many varieties, so many brands, so many SPF factors and different. What should we be looking for when we're buying a sunscreen?
Right, and this is a big topic this time of year. People have so many questions. You'd be overwhelmed with the type of sunscreen choices. Some of the best sunscreens are more of the physical sunscreen, so the zinc and titanium, because they not only block the UVB, but they also block UVA, and UVA is also associated with skin cancer, in particular melanoma. So you want to get a broad spectrum sunscreen, at least SPF 30 or above, and reapply it. And the key is you have to get something that feels good on your skin, otherwise you're not going to want to use it. And there's lots of different formulations now. There's light formulations, gel formulations, oil-free, everything. So there's really no excuse not to wear sunscreen.
And there's always the debate about, is 45 better than 30? You see them now. I mean, you could walk into a store. I can understand why people are overwhelmed. You see SPF 70, 90. Isn't there a point where it's just all the same?
That's exactly right. The point is about SPF 30. There's very little difference between an SPF 30 and an SPF, say, 75 or even 100. So that's why the American Academy of Dermatology recommends a 30 or above.
But you have to put enough of it on, right? And from what I understand, people just don't use enough of it, and they don't reapply like they should.
If you're using the same bottle of sunscreen the entire summer, you're not putting enough on. The key, and we see that all the time, the key is you want to be thinking of maybe a shot glass full to cover the full body.
Every 2 hours?
Right, every 2 to 3 hours, particularly when you're out and getting a lot of sun exposure. So that's a lot of sunscreen. You really need to be using it. Otherwise, you're not going to get the SPF that's on the bottle.
Right. You could go through it in a week, one bottle a week almost, if you're using that much of it. But depending on your sun exposure, obviously.
Okay, so we've got the prevention covered, now detection. We've got some pictures to show people at home. What do they need to look for, the ABCs of detection?
So We really encourage people to look at their own skin. Do self-skin exams once a month, and what you're looking for are the A, B, C, D, E rule. A stands for asymmetry. So when you put a line down the center of a mole, it should be equal one side versus the other. Otherwise, it's asymmetric and could be dangerous.
Okay.
B stands for border. The border should be nice and smooth and not jagged in any way. C stands for color. The color of the mole should be even throughout. It might be light brown or dark brown, but it should be even. You shouldn't have a variety of colors.
Okay.
Dark brown, light brown, black, white. All of these different things can go into it.
Okay.
D stands for diameter. We really, melanoma can start quite small, and it does start quite small, but those lesions that are more than, say, a racer head size or 6 millimeters are more worrisome than others.
Okay.
And E stands for evolving. So evolving or changing, and this is a big red flag. This is where people can literally save their own life. Look at your skin. If you notice any lesion changing, size, shape, or color, you want to go right to your dermatologist and have them check it out, because change is a major danger sign when it comes to skin lesions.
That means it's evolving.
Right.
Growing into something
and
else.
then you want to have it checked. And then
been dealt with.
Right.
Get it out.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Now, I do want to talk about African Americans.
Right.
Because they do suffer from skin cancer, and that is something I want to dig into people's minds.
Right.
Oftentimes, though, isn't it the feet where you see the issues? Can you talk a bit about that?
That's exactly right. And when it comes to melanoma, you can see melanoma in people with skin of color. Not all melanoma is related to the sun. And it's hands and feet, fingernails, toenails. Those are the areas that you really have to look.
And what about the toenails?
Right. So when we do skin exams in the office, we're really careful about making sure the nail polish is off and looking at toenails for dark, very dark black streaks in the nails. It can be a normal finding, but it should be checked out by a dermatologist to make sure that it is not, in fact, a melanoma. And unfortunately, when melanoma does occur in skin of color, it's often caught at later stages because people aren't thinking that they're at risk for skin cancer.
Right.
I had no idea that melanoma could show up in your fingernail or your toenail.
Right.
The black
thought it was
toenail.
just
It can look like you bruised your toenail. Because I remember I did this and freaked out because the web, well, it's a godsend. At the same time, it can freak you out. But I looked up, I'm like, I think I stubbed my toe, but I don't remember stubbing my toe. And it said, this could be a really dangerous cancer. So I ran to the dermatologist's office.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Conversely, when you have fair skin such as yourself, I mean, are you at higher risk because you're so fair? I mean, and you also you had 2 now melanomas turn up. So are you at higher risk because of that?
Right. I am at higher risk because I'm fair-skinned, but also I have some risk factors. I've had a couple of blistering sunburns in my lifetime, and unfortunately, when I was younger, I did go to the tanning salon for a certain amount of time. And I know that hopefully there's a lot of people out there saying, you know, uh-oh, I better stop going to the tanning salon.
Right.
And I hope they do that, because tanning salons at this point have really been linked to melanoma, and we need to be very, very careful about that type of excessive ultraviolet exposure.
Maybe becoming a dermatologist has saved your life in some way. You never know.
I think it has, because otherwise, I caught these very, very early. But if I wasn't a dermatologist, I may not have seen them right away. So I think that's key.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. You have surgery on Tuesday.
I had it already.
You had it already?
Yes.
Oh, good. You're good. You're looking great.
I'm feeling good.
And she's on TV.
Thanks for the
doctor.
important message.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, still coming up here on Let's Talk Live, an 8th grader from Montgomery County hopes to win it all in today's final round of the National Geography Bee. Does he have a chance? We'll find out a little bit later.
And Melanie's lucky because she's got the next segment. Next, you won't want to miss.
You can do it with me.
I might have to come on there. 2-star mixologists. They're going to whip up some cool cocktails for this hot summer.
And after a refreshing drink, we're going to indulge in some fresh baked pizza with former Top Chef contestant and DC restaurateur Spike Mendelsohn.
Plus, how you can help low-income men right here in our area find jobs.
And then the incredible story of a local breast cancer survivor who is about to get married, but there is a twist to her wedding day. Stay tuned for those details. And of course, if you want more, you can always check out our Facebook page for behind-the-scenes pictures. We've got a blog too. It's tbd.com. Enter in the keywords Let's Talk Live. We'll be right back.